This is Hokies All Access, produced by your official local television home of the Virginia Tech Hokies, in association with Virginia Tech Sports Properties. Hokies All Access.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Jermaine Ferrell. Hoping your day is wonderful and blessed. And like butter, let's go on a roll, baby. A little thing we like to call Hokies All Access. Now, in our opening drive segment of Hokies All Access with first quarter action. What a week for both the Virginia Tech men's and women's basketball teams. The ladies first, because that's how we roll. Back on Thursday, January 28th at Castle Coliseum, the Virginia Tech Hokies got rid of weeks of tough, gut-wrenching losses by getting the biggest win in program history. The Hokies earned the program's first victory over an AP Top 4 team after defeating number 2 NC State 83-71 in overtime. Asia Shepard, the senior guard, scored 18 of her 28 points in the overtime session. Sophomore center Elizabeth Kitley was big, 17 points, 11 rebounds, registering her 11th double-double of the season. Tops in the ACC tied for the national lead. Virginia Tech set an NCAA Division I record with 26 points in the extra period.
The kids sat there, they looked a little dazed, and I told them, the first thing I said to them was, look, if anybody here doesn't think we're going to win the basketball game, get up and go, leave. I said, well, we'll finish with the people who believe. And right then and there was a little bit of an eruption, and they believed, and I think it helped too that Shep hit the first three-pointer of the overtime, and finally to be able to get over the hump and get one this magnitude feels really good.
You sleep a little better. You go in watching film tomorrow, knowing that you made mistakes, and of course there's things that you still need to work on, but you kind of just are able to take a breath and just reevaluate and understand that it's okay to take a breath and take a moment to celebrate.
Meanwhile, more good news for Shepard. She was named the ACC Women's Basketball Player of the Week. Shepard averaged 22 points per game to lift Virginia Tech to a pair of wins last week. Now, the senior guard from Alexandria, Virginia, she led all scorers in that Wolfpack win with 28 points, scoring all her points after halftime. Then last Sunday, Shepard added 16 points, 4 assists as Virginia Tech defeated North Carolina 73-69. Shepard leading the nation with 63 triples. She ranked second in the ACC, averaging 19 points per contest. Meanwhile, on to men's hoops in the Commonwealth Class. 20th ranked Virginia Tech knocked off 8th ranked Virginia 65-51 last Saturday night inside Castle Coliseum. Of course, Tech moved up to 16th in the AP poll. Fort Keve Aluma notched her career high 29 points and also grabbed 10 rebounds, which is his 4th double-double of the season.
Aluma was really playing well as he did throughout. I thought the ball was moving a little bit better. I thought we screened a little bit better. On the other end, we continued to contest and hang in there. I thought we did a nice job on the glass. Just better basketball from our team, and couldn't have come at a better time. Good win for the Hokies.
Meanwhile, after turning in 2 double-doubles last week, Keve Aluma earned 4 prestigious awards this past week, earning Jersey Mike's Naismith Trophy Player of the Week, ACC Player of the Week, ESPN Player of the Week, and the U.S. Basketball Writers Association selected Aluma as his Oscar Robertson National Player of the Week. The redshirt junior averaged 21.5 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks per game last week. Along with his strong performance against UVA, the Wofford transfer was steady in the win at Notre Dame last Tuesday, recording a 14-point, 12-rebound double-double. Tech has 4 wins over ranked teams this season, making them the only ACC team that has 4 or more. And we're not done talking about Aluma. With the help of our good buddies at Hokie Vision, we are about to hear about Aluma in his own words in this Meet the Team segment.
Well, I got here with Coach Young. I wouldn't have came here if he hadn't have left. But yeah, definitely the best coach I've had. I can't speak for other people, but he definitely changed how I thought about basketball. So he jokes around with us a lot, so it's not like he's not like super serious, I guess. Keep it, I don't know, relaxed, I think. I think we all get under each other's skins at times during practice. But it's a good competitive relationship. Sitting out last year was definitely not easy, but it helped me in the long run, I think. So I was able to work my game and just focus on that for a year. So my last game was when we played Kentucky in the NCAA tournament. We lost, it was a close game. I still get annoyed thinking about that. That was a rough game to like end it on and then not play for a whole year. It was brutal. Definitely one of the hardest years of my life, not being able to play, but having to do like everything that everyone else was doing. It was not easy. Well, without that year, like I said, I wouldn't be playing how I am now. I wouldn't be where I'm at. I'm definitely glad that the time sitting out is over, so I'll be able to get back out there.
Meanwhile, in the Hokies notebook, the ACC announcing Virginia Tech men's basketball home game this Tuesday against Florida State has been postponed due to COVID-19 issues with FSU. Virginia Tech wrestler Dakota Howard was named the ACC Wrestler of the Week after earning a top 10 win last Saturday at North Carolina. And head football coach Justin Fuente announcing he is adding former Virginia Tech defensive tackle J.C. Price to his staff as a co-defensive line coach, defensive recruiting coordinator. Coming up on Hokies All Access, Mike Burnup talks about his former teammate leading Tampa Bay to this weekend's Super Bowl. Stick and stay, please. And welcome back to the Maroon and Orange Express, also known as Hokies All Access. Now in our Hokies highlight segment of Hokies All Access with second quarter action. Former Virginia Tech quarterback and assistant coach Bruce Arians will be soon coaching in his third Super Bowl, his first as a head coach. He's currently with the Tampa Bay Bucks as their head coach. Now, I caught up with a teammate of Arians back in the 70s. You probably heard of him. His name is Virginia Tech Hall of Famer and radio analyst Mike Burnap. He gives his feelings on his former college teammate.
Yeah, I remember Bruce, you know, he was always around because Don Strock was really the number one quarterback, and he was like a sponge. You know, he was just taking everything in at those meetings, trying to learn all that he could. And eventually, when the coaching change happened, Charlie Coffey got fired after the year after we left. And then Bruce was here, ended up being the starting quarterback for Jimmy Sharp and ended up starting his coaching career with Jimmy Sharp. So it's a great story. Happy as heck for him, and just thrilled that they're going to be right in their backyard for the Super Bowl for the first time ever.
Bruce Arians' college and pro coaching career spans over 5 decades, to include winning a pair of Super Bowls as an assistant for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Burnap shares where Bruce Arians was close to being named Virginia Tech head football coach in 1987 instead of Frank Beamer.
Bruce thought he had the job. You know, when he left that meeting with Dutch Bachman, who was the AD at the time, you know, he thought he had pretty much had the job. And I guess that when they went into another meeting, he found out that some of the descriptions probably weren't quite what was matching his idea of what a head coach should be, and in terms of some other things. And so I don't know if it went south a little bit from there, but to make the long story short, you know, Coach Beamer got it and had a heck of a career.
Arians is very loyal to his alma mater.
Think about all the places that Bruce has been, all the championships he's won, the head coaching positions that he's had, the coach of the year. And you go down to his house down there, and in front of his house is a Virginia Tech flag. And you go down to his boat dock where his boats are kept. He's got 2 nice boats. And the boats are all, the canopies are all Virginia Tech canopies. You think about all those places he's been, the Alabamas, the Kansas Cities, the Arizona Cardinals, Pittsburgh Steelers, where he won Super Bowls, and he's got all the Hokie stuff down there. His pool table covers a Hokie. You never forgot where he came from.
Local in Roanoke, Jermaine Ferrell, Wfxr Sports.
Now, Tampa Bay head coach Bruce Arians isn't the only Virginia Tech connection with the NFC champs, Super Bowl 55. Of course, Cody Grimm, he's an assistant coach, former player of the Hokies. But Nick Rapone played for the Hokies from 1974 to 1977. While at Virginia Tech, he played with Arians in 1974 when Arians was a senior and Rapone was a freshman. Arians then served as a graduate assistant from 1975 and 76 and running backs coach in 1977 while Rapone played for the Hokies. Rapone was an assistant coach under Arians at Temple and with the Arizona Cardinals and currently with Tampa Bay.
He's just a really good person. He's the type of guy that you want as a friend. He always remembers roots. We're both Pennsylvania guys. I'm from Newcastle. He's from York. And, you know, besides 1 year, he's always been my boss. So it's been a great relationship.
And coming up on Hokies All Access, we have more on Bruce Arians in this week's Coach's Corner. This is Hokies All Access. And welcome back to Hokies All Access with third quarter action. We all love a good soundbite, and Bucks head coach Bruce Arians has him for days. Now, Arians had actually retired from coaching in the NFL after the 2011 season, but was lured out to be Chuck Pagano's offensive coordinator with the Indianapolis Colts. Just 3 games into the 2012 season, however, Pagano was diagnosed with leukemia, and so the week of his 60th birthday, Arians was thrust into the role of NFL head coach for the first time in his long career. Chris Hagan traces Arians' pro head football coaching career in this week's Coach's Corner.
I asked Mr. Irsay if we would leave the light on in his office permanently until he comes back, and we're going to do that.
Arians led the Colts to a 9-3 mark, back into the playoffs, and was the first interim head coach to win AP Coach of the Year honors. Along the way, he dropped gems like this.
Football's football. Why tinker with it? We don't need new sets of rules. I realize some guys have gotten hurt over the years on covering kicks or returning kicks. They get hurt in every phase of the game. We're going to phase out everything.
Then it was on to Arizona, and the hits kept on coming.
God gave him some stuff he didn't give the rest of us. Where these stats come from, I don't know, but sounds good. It's nothing personal. You're just talking about football stinks. You're a pretty good guy.
Center A.Q. Shipley's played for Arians at all 3 of his head coaching stops.
You're taught at an early age when you get into this life to say all the right answers or what is perceived to be the right answer to the media, and he just tells it how it is, whether you like it or not.
Now in his second season with the Bucks, Arians still believes in the adage, no risk it, no biscuit, something he explained in his introductory press conference in Tampa.
I can never remember which coach said that to me, but I kind of live life that way. You know, I try to hit every par 5 and 2, and I put a lot of balls in the water. But if you don't try to hit it, you're never going to hit it.
And that was Chris Hagan reporting. Arians admits there have been way too many risks in his career, but reminds us there have been a few biscuits, so keep that in mind. Coming up on Hokies All Access, Mike Burnup and John Laser join me to take a look at the 2021 Virginia Tech football schedule. This is Hokies All Access. All right, folks, welcome back to Hokies All Access here and full booth time. And John and Mike rejoin. We're going to talk Virginia Tech football. Football schedule came out recently, so we're going to take a look at that football schedule. And things are going to get started either Thursday or Friday. That's September 2nd or 3rd with the ACC game at home against North Carolina. Then on Saturday, September the 11th, it's home to Middle Tennessee State. Saturday, September the 18th, taking a trip to Morgantown, West Virginia to play the West Virginia Mountaineers. Then September 25th, a Saturday home date against Richmond. So John and Mike, give me your thoughts about that first 4.
Well, I think if you strap Justin Fuente to a lie detector test and asked him if he wanted to open with a team that potentially will be the team that they compete with in the Coastal Division, Miami and Virginia and some others will certainly have a say in it, he would tell you that's not ideal. But it sets up one of those situations where if you manage to win that first game, then all of a sudden you set such a positive note to your season, particularly with a string of home games coming up after it, that might be what gets the ball rolling downhill. The opposite of that is certainly true. If you fall in that game, then it puts your season off and you're a step behind already a team that more than likely you'd be chasing. So it's going to be a lot of pressure. It's going to be a lot of drama. That's why TV has, of course, set that matchup. But I go beyond the opponent to where we are in this pandemic. And let's just assume that everything is back to as close to normal as possible. And you're getting the folks back inside Lane Stadium for the first time in nearly 2 years at night against North Carolina. The last time they were there, 6 overtimes. Honestly, it almost brings me to tears just thinking about what the emotion might be like walking down Beamer Way that given night. So right out of the box, I love that, despite the fact that from a competitive standpoint, neither head coach would probably want to face the other one right out of the box like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good, probably a good time to play them when you think about those 2 great running backs they lost to the NFL. So maybe they'll be trying to find their way a little bit too. Jermaine, you just never know. I hope it's a Thursday night game because the Hokies already have a Friday night game down the later in the season against Boston College, I guess. And then you got 3 non-conference games coming up after that, and it's going to be great to go back up to Morgantown, West Virginia, and play the Mountaineers again. Hopefully that'd be a noonday game because the longer they have time to get lathered up, the worse the atmosphere is there. But it'll be great to renew that rivalry. And then, it should be a fun month.
And then we come to the month of October where we see that Virginia Tech continuing a stretch of 4 straight home games, where on October the 9th, they will play home to Notre Dame. Then on October 16th, they're home to Pitt. And then October 23rd, a home game against Syracuse. And then on the road on October 30th against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. But yeah, that stretch, wrapping up that 4-game stretch of home games right there, guys.
Yeah, you're going to know where you are by the middle of the season in terms of what your prospects are going forward, and you're going to have those home games to build momentum. I think it's just a matter of how you want to look at the schedule, right? Are you going to go in going, wow, that's a daunting stretch at the end of the year when you've got 4 or 5 on the road? For Mikey and I, it is, because basketball will have restarted by then and it's crossover season, and we're going to be here, there, and everywhere during that period. But that's a sacrifice that we make for the fans, of course. No, but I was talking to Bill Tierlink about this the other day, and he said, you know what, I actually love it, because I think this is a program right now that if we're going to gain momentum, we're going to do it at home, and we'd love to do it early in the season and then take our chances at the tail end of the season. And as Mike pointed out, if you have a Thursday game to start, your bye hits night right in the middle there, Jermaine, when you're talking about the portion of the schedule, then you have another night game against Boston College later that gives you somewhat of another day bye, so to speak. So I think the coaching staff feels like it sets up for them to be really rested at the tail end of the season, something that they certainly could not say was the case this year.
Yeah, and having that open date before the Notre Dame game certainly will help matters after you get through that little bit of that early part of the season. And, last year the Hokies ended up opening up with supposed to be UVA at one point, and then it was NC State. So, yeah, I think it's a good little stretch there. And I know they'll be looking forward to that October 16th game against Pitt after what happened up there in Pittsburgh last year. That'll be interesting. And Syracuse has been a little bit down. Georgia Tech's kind of on the rise. So that should be a fun month. And, again, try to build the momentum and get those home games under your belt, because, looking down the road, that last stretch, 4 out of 5, is going to be difficult.
And then finally, guys, we wrap up the season in November, where we have 3 or 4 on the road. You mentioned November the 5th. That's a Friday game at home at Boston College, going up Chestnut Hill, and then your home finale November the 13th against Duke, and then 2 straight road games at Miami on the 20th, and then at Virginia on the 27th. That's a tough finish right there for the Virginia Tech Hokies.
It's just so difficult, Jermaine, to sit here now so many months away from the season and speculate where you might be as a football team. It is. I mean, those are 2 of your Coastal Division rivals, your in-state rival. To play them both on the road in the same season is difficult, but something that Virginia Tech is used to. And then in the opposite season, you get them both at home. To play them back-to-back is certainly going to be a challenge. But again, you have no idea where you're going to be. I mean, maybe you go rolling into South Florida and you've got a ton of momentum, and then you come out of that, and that could be a big win to rally you towards that Virginia game. Converse of that certainly could be true. Maybe you get banged up during the course of the season, you're limping to that portion of the schedule. So again, back to my previous point, you'd really like scenario A to be the case where you use that home stretch, the off week, and then the comforts of home cooking to have you in as fine a place as you can be as a football team to face what undoubtedly will be a very big stretch at the tail end of the season.
If you're a Hokie fan, like we know so many are, if they can get back into Lane Stadium, would be fantastic. They'll be liking the fact that they get those home games early, because the weather is usually much better, right? To be at the end of the season, just that one home game against Duke in November that they may have to endure the grind and the cold and the bad weather. So that should be fun. But yeah, that stretch at the end there, obviously with Miami, Virginia, could be huge. I mean, there could be so much at stake for all those teams, all 3 of those teams, because the direction that Coach Bronco Mendenhall's got UVA going, quarterback is back. And then obviously Miami played really well last year. So it's going to be a fun stretch to finish up the year. It's always fun to go to South Florida when the weather's warm and it's cold in Blacksburg as well. And so it sets up to be really, really good. It could be a special year. And I know there's a lot of pressure on the coaching staff to have a good season this year. And hopefully they'll get off to a good start, build on that momentum, stay healthy, and have some fannies in the seats. So it can be a real Hokie great football season.
I got to tell you what, guys, never too early to talk football. Mike Burnup, John Laser, thank you so much again for being on Full Booth this week, and we're going to catch you next week with more Full Booth, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Big Daddy.
All right, Big Daddy, take care.
And that does it for this edition of Hokies All Access. I'm Jermaine Ferrell. Have a wonderful and blessed day, everyone, and go Hokies!